we're trying to solve, and this problem is count the number of boxes of orange juice. So we have basically fridge full of juices or boxes of juice of various flavors, and we need the number of only the orange flavor. So let's just do the same thing here. Type the problem at the top. So let's say given a fridge full of different or various flavors of juice, count the boxes of orange juice only. Okay, so again we are using our pseudocode, pseudo programming language, and relying only on the things that we learned so far in the previous videos. And so this problem has actually one issue from the very beginning. When we need to get the input from user, let's think like, what's the input? So fridge cannot be input apparently. We need to model this into a more like programming language friendly entities. So one way we can think of this is it's a collection of objects, right? And each object is some box of juice, or let's call it a juice, right? It can be a can, it can be a bottle. So, and we need to count only the ones that are of orange flavor. So, and then if we can think of this object, the juice box, as something having several properties, right? And one would be flavor. So we could write juice.flavor, right? And let's say if it's orange, we can say, remember the equality operator that returns a boolean. So let's say it's a string, and this means that it's an orange juice, right? So if this expression evaluates to true, it means it's an orange juice. If it evaluates to false, it means it's something else. So this is good, right? This we can check. But still, like, how do we accept this input from a user? So, and what's the type of the variable we will store? So we don't know how to store complex objects with properties, so we can't do that now. We can think of one way for now. Let's assume we have int number or count input, right? So we'll think of this as the number of all the boxes, right, in the fridge, independent of flavor. And then we cannot get the number of orange juice boxes as input, because that's what we're trying to calculate, but we can get. So let's basically pretty much we cannot solve this problem with what we know, but at least let's assume we get this, somehow we get a list or collection of objects, right? The juice objects. So let's call it, let's assume we have some type, variable type juice, right? Data type juice, and we say juice is juice, and let's say we have, or let's call it collection of juice boxes, right? Let's assume we have this custom data type, and then we say boxes, and then somehow the user can input this, right? So somehow in these boxes we have number. So in this case we can comment this out. So we can think of this, we can think that boxes as count, so that would be number of all boxes. And then we can also think that we can access each individual box and its properties with providing boxes, let's say dot and then index, right? Or let's do index in the square brackets. So let's use this notation, even though we don't have this yet. We didn't learn about collections, lists, arrays, and how to access individual elements, but for now let's just assume we can do this. So boxes I is referring to the ith box in this collection, right? And we can say boxes I.flavor. So what we need to do after we have input is go through each and every box, right? And again, we hit the problem where we need to do the same action n times, where in this case n is boxes.count, right? We need to repeat this. Let's say we need to do something. I'll just wrap it in this bracket so that it's not just something, you know, it's something else, placeholder. So we need to do something boxes count times, and that something should be check basically boxes I should change, and then flavor, and if it's orange, so do something, right? But again, so one thing, we have three problems here, right? We don't know, we don't have this type, we don't know how to do that, we don't know how to input the get that an object of that type as input, we don't know how to do something n times, and we, even though we can have this boolean evaluated, we don't know how to check it, right? So actually we have one operator which we covered in the operators video, which is this ternary. So we can say, so one thing we can do is int count or number of orange boxes, and initially we say 0, and then we can say number of orange boxes. So one thing we can do is we use this operator, we assign, we say number of orange boxes plus, so whatever is the current value, plus we say, so we evaluate this as a boolean expression, and remember this ternary operator, question mark colon. So if this is true, so if it's orange, then increase the number y1, and then colon, this is expression that will be used if the condition is false. So if this is false, don't increase, so increase by 0, right? So this would give us, and then at the end we would do output the number of orange boxes, orange juice boxes. So this would give us the result, but again, as we can see, we don't really know how to do things n times, same thing, almost same thing, except for changing the index. And then we don't know how to do this custom complex type to store the boxes and to get it in input. So basically, with what we know so far, we cannot solve this problem. This is another one. Let's remember this, we'll come back to it. And yeah, so let's get to the last third problem in the next video. See you soon.